What is multiple chemical sensitivity? 1 in 4 Americans are injured or disabled by chemicals that are supposed to be safe. They're forced into ever more restrictive lifestyle changes, ending careers, forcing people to abandon their homes, and straining personal relationships. The World Health Organization officially recognizes multiple chemical sensitivity as a physical disease affecting the limbic system in the brain. It is not a psychological condition, as the chemical companies want people to believe. Damage from chemical agents, pollutants, and free radicals trigger a cascading series of signaling systems. Dr. Iris Bell first proposed the basic theory of olfactory limbic kindling in 1992. Neural sensitization, central sensitization, and fusion theories build on limbic kindling to form what may be the underlying central mechanism called the etiology. The same way that a radio amplifies a very weak signal from the antenna to create music coming out of the speakers, exposure to chemicals first stimulates limbic system regions of the brain which have already been sensitized. The response is then amplified by 1 or more mechanisms in series, each involving elements of the nitric oxide NO-ON-OO cycle. In the limbic system, the hypothalamus translates input from the senses to the cortex for conscious interpretation. The amygdala, which sits next to the hypothalamus, is part of the brain which generates a physical fight or flight response long before there is any conscious awareness of a threat. Each stage in the reaction creates a 2 to 5-fold increase at every level of the signaling chain. Because the process multiplies at each level, by the end of the chain reaction, the expected 1,000-fold increase in sensitivity that patients experience is easily explained. It could be thought of as the brain's smoke alarm. A key to the reaction are free radicals. These are any molecule with 1 or more incomplete orbitals, like O2 dot dash, dot OH, NO dot, or ONOO dash. They rip electrons away from other molecules, or else have loose electrons ripped away from them. Free radicals alter biomolecules and damage cells by reacting directly with lipids, proteins, and enzymes to produce peroxides, alcohols, aldehydes, ketones, and other toxic substances. They actually create mutations by altering DNA itself. Cellular suicide, called apoptosis, happens when oxidative stress changes the pathways that cells use for signaling and activates the natural programming of cell death genes. In the 10th revision of the International Statistical Classification of Diseases and Related Health Problems, called ICD-10, MCS is officially classified by the World Health Organization under 2 separate diagnosis codes. The first recognizes the role that the limbic system's nitrous oxide exchange system plays in the overall process, as well as the allergy-like nature of the reported symptoms. The code for the general underlying chronic condition is T78.4, unspecified allergies. The subcategory is allergic reaction, nitrous oxide system, which they abbreviate as NOS, hypersensitivity, NOS, and idiosyncrasy, NOS. When a person undergoes a specific acute exposure incident, depending on the reaction, it may be classified as J68.9, unspecified respiratory conditions due to inhalation of fumes, gas, and chemical vapors. Despite the growing mountain of internationally collected data connecting supposedly safe chemicals with a host of known illnesses, the chemical companies and drug manufacturers want everyone to think the reactions and symptoms are purely psychological, and they spend a lot of money to lobby that position. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention would call any condition affecting 25% of the population a pandemic, which is worse than an epidemic. But modern medical organizations in the United States refuse to acknowledge that multiple chemical sensitivity even exists. If MCS were Ebola, the human race would be extinct by now. The truth is that a growing collection of triggers lurk in modern chemical products, and the manufacturers don't want you to know about them.